So today we're going to make some butternut squash, some baked butternut squash, and apples in our outdoor wood-fired pizza oven. This is an Alfa 4 Pizze, and you could really do this in any wood-fired oven, but what I got going on here is a butternut squash that I have cubed up with a couple of apples. Then I tossed it with some olive oil, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some thyme, a little bit of salt, and I think that's about it. So I tossed that up nice, and now it's all spread out on a sheet pan that I lined with aluminum foil because I'm lazy when it comes to cleanup. And then I'm going to cover that with another sheet of aluminum foil for the beginning of the cook, and I'm going to put that back in the back end of the oven there because I got a nice hot oven, and I'm also going to cook some brats in the front of the oven, so I need some space, and so that'll go back in the back covered in foil, and I'm expecting it to take, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, but I'm going to uncover it after about 15 so that they get a little bit of browning, but I want them to kind of parboil almost with that aluminum foil on top because it'll get nice and steamy in there. Then I'll take that foil off and it'll cook it and get a nice roast. So that's what we're going to get started on. So there you can see I got my sheet pan in the back there, at least as far back as it's going to go. And then I got my fire pushed back into that back corner, and we can cook brats here up in the front on this nice roasting tray that I got. It's been about 5 minutes on my squash and apples there, and you can hear, if you listen close, sizzling. So I'm going to rotate that pan because that's a key to really doing good cooking in here. And then we'll let that go for a little bit more, and then we'll take that top off. So my squash and apples have been in there for another 5 minutes. That's about 10 minutes total. So I'm going to rotate the pan again, and then in a couple more minutes we'll take that foil off. So the squash and apples have been in the oven now for about 15 minutes. You can still hear some nice bubbling going on inside there, and I'm thinking it's about time that I need to take the top off so that I get a good bit of roasting and not just boiled squash. So you notice I got the fire stoked up probably a little bit more than it needs to be, but I don't want to have to add any more wood unless I absolutely have to after I take that top off, because I don't want to get any ashes in my squash. So I'm going to try to not have to touch the wood. I'm going to do a little bit of sprucing up on the fire back there, and then I get a little pan I'm going to use for some brats that I'm going to put some coals into, and then I'll take that cover off and we'll let it finish cooking probably about another, I don't know, I'm guessing 15 minutes, but we'll see. The top is off. It's been about 15-20 minutes. The squash is nice and soft. Now we're going to put it back in the oven without the foil on so that they can get nice and roasted. Now the squash has been back in the oven for, I don't know, 5-6 minutes or so, and in the back corner there it's starting to get some color, so I'm actually going to pop it out and turn it around so that it gets nice and even cooking. So we're going to give that a turn. It's been another 5 minutes or so, and the the squash and the apples have colored up nicely. I'm going to sprinkle a couple of walnuts on top of there for a little texture. Then we're going to pop it back in the oven for just another couple of minutes to get those a little toasted and a little more color there, and then we will be good to go. I spread the fire back out a little bit because I'm done cooking my brats, and I got the walnuts in there, and we're getting a nice even toasting on what's there, and we'll be done in just a minute.